Joe Biden appears to have cemented his position as the frontrunner in the U.S. Democratic presidential race. The former vice president has scored big wins in 4 of 6 states holding contests in the race to select the Democratic nominee, including the largest prize, Michigan. The results are a blow to Biden's rival for the nomination, Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, although some of his supporters say he still has a slim chance of winning.
This is how crazy it is.
Here's what Joe Biden had to say to his supporters.
This election is one that has character on the ballot. The character of the candidates, the character of the nation is on the ballot. It's more than a comeback, in my view, our campaign. It's a comeback for the soul of this nation. This campaign is taking off, and I believe we're going to do well from this point on. Take nothing for granted. Want to earn every single vote in every single state.
Well, at last week's Super Tuesday, Biden leaped ahead of the delegate count, and now he's padding his lead. The total count currently stands at 823 for Biden to 663 for Sanders. The number of delegates reflects popular support in each state, and a candidate needs at least 1,991 of them to win the Democratic nomination outright. Well, our reporter Peter Rolle-Dahl has been following the primary all along. Good to see you this morning, Peter. A big night for Joe Biden, but is it enough to knock Bernie Sanders out of the race?
Well, we're not quite there yet, but it is certainly hard to see how Sanders bounces back after this. He went from, front runner to trailing pretty badly in just a few weeks. Next Tuesday could then sound the death knell of Sanders. We have 577 additional delegates up for grabs in 4 states, Florida, Arizona, Illinois, Ohio. Biden is a favorite to win in every one of them. So it is very hard to see how Sanders bounces back.
But this was an important primary. Michigan. Sanders had staked his comeback, his hopes on a comeback on Michigan. What went wrong for him there?
Right. I mean, this is a state that he won surprisingly against Hillary Clinton in 2016. Hillary Clinton was not that different of a candidate than Joe Biden. Sanders staked his whole campaign and his whole candidacy this year on, being the person who can bring together a broad coalition of, white working class voters, black voters, Latino voters, young voters. For all the fervor we've seen at his rallies, though, those people have not turned out, especially young voters have not turned out when it mattered on Election Day. Biden, on the other hand, we've seen, a surge unlike anything anyone had expected. We've seen black voters turn out in droves for him. We've seen, especially suburbanites who were really, really crucial here in Michigan, turn out for Biden. Say people vote with their wallets, the economy is doing well. So what people are focused on right now is who is the best candidate to beat Trump. That, for them, seems to be Biden.
Well, that's my next question. Given that Biden does have a commanding lead, can we expect the Democrats to come up with a common strategy now, rallying behind Biden, to beat Trump?
Oh, that's an awfully optimistic question, Terry. He's racked up a long line of endorsements from, especially a lot of the candidates who dropped out of the race. Just most recently yesterday, we saw Andrew Yang, for instance, who many thought would maybe side with Sanders. He went for Biden. Not a lot of support left in the Democratic Party, the establishment for Sanders. And
as I've said all along,
so that does not bode well for Sanders, definitely. It bodes well for Biden. The problem is that a lot of people on the left are not excited about Biden. I've spoken to a lot of Sanders supporters who say they simply can't see how they can back a guy like Biden on election day.
What about the coronavirus? That has exploded in the middle of this campaign. Is it making itself felt on the campaign trail?
Well, we've definitely seen them scale back the campaigns. Both Biden and Sanders have called off rallies Tuesday evening. There's a debate coming up on Sunday that's been, it's not been canceled, but it's going to be held without a live audience. But turnout itself does not appear to have suffered. So I think essentially what we're seeing is, the desire to beat Trump is, for now at least, as big as the desire to beat the coronavirus.
Peter, thank you so much for now. DW reporter Peter Rolle-Dahl.
Thank you so much.